9 o'clock, please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
First on the agenda is to approve the minutes of November 21st as presented.
I'll make the motion.
Tim moved.
I'll second.
Bob second. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Miscellaneous motions. On recommendation of the Coffee County Clerk, move to authorize Director Chairman to sign the notice of Key West Township Board for 2023 cereal malt beverage license for Travel Centers of America located at 2775 US 75, Lebo, Kansas. I'll move.
I'll second.
Tim second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next one, upon recommendation of the Coffee County Clerk, move to authorize Director Chairman to sign notice to Key West Township Board for a 2023 cereal malt beverage license for Conoco Travel Center / Cedar Valley Investments doing business as Fuel Expresso 11 located at 2754 Highway 75, Lebo, Kansas.
I'll make the motion.
Tim moved. I'll second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. That concludes our book for today. Slow day.
There's two, I gave you those 2 lines.
Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, you want signature pages?
On the cereal malt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or the.
I can get to them.
They're there.
There's that. Sorry, my shoulder is not working.
There too? No, no tax abatements?
Yep, tax abatements are here.
There should have been a motion. Yeah, we'll have a motion.
Oh,
All right, so just be 8 tax abatements, we need 750.
Move to authorize Director Chairman to sign 8 tax abatements in the amount of $715.70.
Sandy, what's your for?
Land value, this is for Drew Foster, Waverly, Kansas. Land value lots 1314. This property should have been deleted when properties were combined, is one of them. Me Builders LLC, Burlington, Kansas. Property sold, $16.54. First one was $70.74. Burlington, same, Me Builders. Property was sold, $16.54. Builders, $17.32. Property sold. Same, property sold, $17.32, and the big one is Newkirk, Richard Newkirk, Burlington, Kansas, Links Road, traded off 2016 Chevrolet pickup, $622. And Lebo, Richard Morgan, sold a vehicle, $66. James Tapman, Sedan, Kansas, sold a vehicle, $24.
How's it move?
Bob moved,
I'll second.
Tim second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. About to get stamped for all these. There's that. All right, 905 Cancer Support Group. You're on deck.
Good morning.
Morning,
My name's Carla Hoke. For those of you who do not know me, I'm with the Coffee County Cancer Support Group. We're a local nonprofit organization. We hold 2 fundraising events a year. We have the soup lunch in March and the golf tournament in August. And I'm sorry, I also have Sherry O'Keefe back here with me. So what I'm here today for is to ask for assistance with purchasing a building. We have all of our supplies from the golf tournament, the soup lunch, and other items that is currently being stored in 4 different people's homes. And we'd like to consolidate them, get them all in one location, organize them, and label, and make it readily accessible. We've gone to the city council and asked them for a place to set this building, and they have approved letting us put it up there behind City Hall in that fenced-in area. And we've also have insurance. So the building that we're looking at, we're going to buy from, I think it's Rocky Acres. Jeremy Huguenin. Yeah, the one out south, basically. It's an 8x12 lofted garden shed with a 4-foot door and two single pane windows, for a total of $3,657.50. Any questions? No, it's short and sweet.
Insurance, you'll have insurance on it,
Yes, through American Family.
and the contents.
Yes. Yes. And liability and,
Do you have any idea what that's gonna cost for the insurance?
no, because I spoke with her and she said yes, but, we had to wait till we decided which size of building that we were gonna get, and then we'll sit down with her probably, I'm gone this week, so it'll probably be next week.
So what are you asking for?
$3,657.50.
I'm just wondering, I'm just kinda curious, is it worthwhile spending, it was $100 a month for insurance for something like that for the rest of the term, for the insurance, is what I'm saying.
Oh,
Well, they're picking up the tab on that, though.
Well, right,
we're
but still,
paying it, yeah.
right, but still, I mean, it's money you're gonna have to spend, that you have to raise, and so is it, I mean, it's behind the city hall, it's in a fenced-in area, right?
mhm.
I'm just wondering, what kind of value, I mean, we know what the value of the building is, what kind of value of the contents, is there any?
I couldn't even give a ballpark under, oh my goodness, probably under, have any idea what the value might be?
All the soup supplies and signs for the golf tournament and stuff. I mean, under $5,000, but probably $3,500.
Tornado comes up and blows it away, at least they can replace
Yeah,
it. So.
yeah.
Depends on what their deductible is.
Yeah. And I won't know that till I go talk with Gina again.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
It kind of depends on your deductible. Your deductible may be as much or more than what your equipment is. You may not even you might be better off not even insuring it.
That's saving the money.
So saving the money, I mean, you go out here and ask people to donate for cancer, and now you're talking $100 or $1,200 a year, you're just gonna
give to an insurance company,
Mhm.
at least.
Be something to definitely check
Yeah,
out,
they
and see if
check
it's
it out,
justifiable.
because
If I remember right, the city is requiring us to have liability insurance at least, so at least have to do that. Put it on their property,
Right.
so,
Then you can't blame them.
no,
No.
not at all,
and I'm not opposed to it, because I've supported the cancer group forever, but
yeah.
one thing I see, this is what kind of hurts organizations, is when you go out and you start asking for donations, and then they're not spending the money on what people think they're giving the money for.
And we totally agree with that. That's one of the reasons why we came here this morning, because we didn't feel it was right to spend the money that we bring in to help other people on a building.
So if this is on city property, would the city be willing to insure it?
I'd have to ask that.
In other words, if you bought the building and gave it to them, and their point was, this is what the building is for, but it's here, it's on your property, would they be willing to insure it, take care of it for you with it? Because in their coverage, it would not amount to very much for an extra building.
I can sure go back and ask him that and get back with you. I'm new to this, so.
What was the total again?
$3657.50.
And funds to come from,
That's what I was just looking at.
Yeah, so you can probably pull the
Probably-
sheet out.
general fund, community improvement line items.
That's
That's
what I
what
would
I'd
say.
So would you like me to come back and give you the answers that I get from city about?
I don't think that really matters anything, does it, Bob?
Matters not to me.
It doesn't matter, it just, I hate, yeah, it matters in a sense to me, because if it's gonna cost them $1,200 a year,
For insurance, yeah.
I'm wondering if, I might be willing to give a little bit more to help cover that, because I again go to the fact is, you ask people for donations, and a lot of people work hard for this, and then the money just given to a company. So, I mean, as far as that part, I guess, get the building, got a motion to buy the building, so I guess you get the building.
Right, that's what
And
I
you can come
understood
back
the motion was.
and see how it is, but I would like to know what the city is willing to do.
Okay,
You might express to them, if the county is willing to buy the building, they might be willing to
insure it,
insure it for you.
okay.
I would hope that they would, or you people out there watching. Yeah.
Got it.
Been moved by Jesse, seconded by Tim. $3,657.50 to come out of the,
General.
general
Community improvement.
community improvements, community improvements general fund. No further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Do you
you.
want a copy of the quote or anything?
You could give a copy if you want to.
Okay.
And then we can attach that to the voucher.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. 9:15, Emergency Management Director Amber.
I do have one thing to add to that. If the county's buying it, can we get it tax exempt?
Yeah.
Does that include sales tax?
Carla.
Carla?
That's a good question. I don't know. All I have is my quote here, so.
Because if the county's buying it, we can get it tax exempt.
Mhm.
So if that includes sales tax, it may be less.
Be
Okay.
less,
So we could say move to donate up to.
up to $3657.50.
And
I'll
then,
check with Randy today and get back with you.
Okay.
Or
and
get
if you
back with you.
wanna, yeah, and you give me a copy of it when you get it, and then, we can maybe get the check for you next week. If that
Okay.
works.
I don't know why that just dawned on me, but it did, so luckily.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Amber,
Hello.
good morning.
Good morning. Hope everybody had a good turkey day.
Yes.
Came and went.
Came and went. Okay, here to do some updates for you guys. Sirens, we had talked with Matt Deckett from Wolf Creek about the sirens coming to the county, and I think we're ready to move with that. Wade and I have been working on things, and I think we have all the information that we needed from Wolf Creek to take over the sirens. The only issue I have right now, which is not the holdup for anything to do with, on Matt's part, is maintenance of the sirens. We had discussed kind of in the past that Creighton Cox had helped work on the sirens, and he's been doing some light repairs and things. When things come up, he goes out and fixes them, replaces batteries. I do have a quote from a company I met at the Emergency Management Conference. But for our 13 sirens and for them to do preventative maintenance, it costs more than the sirens do. So I don't even want to discuss this.
We send Creighton to school.
We did send Creighton to school a long time ago. It's like American Signal Siren School. He did go to that. He said that it's been a while. He hasn't really messed with the sirens since then. It's been more than 5 years, I
They
think.
just may need a refresh,
Yeah.
because a lot, you'll remember.
And
a
I
lot
did
of it.
reach out to them about this school. They said it's still available and we could send him back to it if we wanted to. What I do want to discuss with you along this line, so sirens, we're ready to go. We're ready to take on the sirens. I do need to get it kind of figured out who's going to maintain them and what we're going to do on that front before we sign the agreement. We'd like to go ahead and sign the agreement on December 12th, if we can, get it moving, because I know Matt was really wanting to get this done before the end of the year. Well, he was wanting to get it done before November, but here we are. I've also came and talked to you about, I need a radio programmer in my office.
Can I back up to the
Okay.
sirens for a minute? Because I thought we were looking at seeing if we needed all 13, because some of them overlapped.
And that's something we can discuss after we get them. We can't do anything until we get them. So, yeah. And we can move them, we can discuss all that.
The only reason I bring that up is because your maintenance contract would be less on 5 sirens than it would be on 13.
Right.
Is that correct?
Yes,
So, okay.
it would.
Maybe if they came, it might be more for 5.
Well, and this company is out of Wichita. They charge mileage, they charge per diem, they charge service call, everything, whereas Creighton's right here.
Okay. I get that part, but I guess I didn't know how far we got on.
Yeah.
How
Well,
many,
and
how many
like-
we actually need to keep in place.
Yeah, and we can discuss that. I think the main part is getting them over to the county.
Okay.
Matt really wants to get rid of them, so.
Okay.
We can discuss that first thing after we sign the agreement and start planning on that. But what I do need to discuss is I have a need for a radio programmer. My previous RAD officer was programming radios. It's not a full-time position, just doing radios, but it takes up quite a bit of time. There's quite a bit of computer work involved in this up front. Once he touches all radios in the county, then after that it's just updating and kind of manipulating them when they have an issue or something. But the sheriff has said he wants someone on staff full time, because if he's in an incident and his radio goes down, he wants someone to be able to fix it right away. And right now we really don't have anybody. We have somewhat of a contractor who was working outage and was unavailable during the entire outage, and I'm not even really sure where he's at on anything. But I would like to hire a full-time radio programmer position, because I told you guys when I started this that we had 4 and I could do it with 3, and I could do it with 3, but not radios also. So to me, I also feel like if this radio position is available to me, why not teach them how to do the siren maintenance and have that same person do the siren maintenance? They're already on staff, they're already getting paid, and that way they'd be there and ready.
My biggest thing is you're probably gonna have to purchase a pretty decent boom truck.
Well, and Creighton said he would work with us, even if we hired a person, he still would work with us on, if we needed a truck. He's gonna have to probably rent one when he works on the tallest sirens, because we have 2 sirens that are pretty tall out at the lake, taller than the rest of them. I don't think his trucks would reach them. But he said that he contracts with other people to rent trucks, and he would help us out too that way, so. We might have to, rent a truck if we have to go on those big sirens, but,
Somebody can use a pair of hooks.
I'll put that in the job description.
Must know how to climb poles.
Yeah, I must know how to climb poles.
I'll get a pair of hooks, I'll give them.
We'll
What
see.
if it's a metal pole?
No, they're wooden.
They're all wooden.
They're wooden.
They're all wooden. I'm not climbing them, but whatever. So I'm just kind of throwing this out there. I'll come back on the 12th. I emailed Angie about getting on the agenda for the 12th. The radio group also would like to come talk to you about some radio purchases on the 12th. So all this kind of ties in together, the sirens, the communications position that I'd like to do, and then radio upgrade stuff, so. So I'm kind of just looking for some feedback on you about this communications technician person. I would like them to do siren maintenance along with the radios, and then I would like them to be my iPods guru. As you guys know, iPods is pretty important in the Wolf Creek response. We get evaluated on it. There's lots of federal mandates that we have for having the license to send out iPods messages to the public, and that's not just for Wolf Creek, that's for anything. I've been trying to keep it up as much as I can, but I really would like someone extra to help out with that. So I'm looking at this person kind of like a tech person to be in our office, because right now we're medium techie.
And what does it cost us each time when we have to send a radio to have it done? We have to take them all there or pay someone?
Right now, Scott Farmer is programming radios for us, but he has a full-time job.
Right.
And he wants to get out of the radio business. Scott Farmer and Randall Brown are kind of filling in where they can, programming radios, but they don't want to do it forever, and they can't. So that's why everybody's really, the radio group is really pushing to get a radio technician on staff.
I was thinking we took somewhere too, we would have to take them every
Mhm.
month to get them reprogrammed.
Since we bought this
Because-
piece of equipment that we have downstairs, a pretty expensive piece of equipment, we don't have to take them
Okay,
anymore. We can program and do our stuff
that was
here
my
in-house.
point, because
Yeah.
I remember we bought
Mhm.
that.
Yep, we did. So, if we can just send someone to radio classes and Randall and Scott give them all the knowledge that they have, they'll do great, I believe. So, I've been working on a job description and my revised table of organization. I sent it to Wade and he's reviewing it. I'd like a communications technician, pay grade 55, I believe, would be right in between where Julie and Tim are. Because Tim is my alternate, so I need him to be up above.
Okay, I know the answer, but why do you want it under your office?
Why do I want it under my office?
Yes, why does it want to be
My office
under
seems
your
to
office?
be a neutral location between law enforcement, fire, EMS. If we put it in any one department, sometimes I think people feel like they cater to their own a little bit, and they're all my people. So if we put it in emergency management, it is a central, it's France. It's a location where everybody gets equal say. And it's been in my office. Previous employees worked on radios. And most of the radio paperwork, grants, purchases, all that kind of stuff comes through my office too. So, looking for questions, feedback on this.
So, you said it wouldn't be a full-time position.
Well, if it was just radios, I don't feel like it would be a full-time job. But if we throw sirens in there and we throw iPods in there, it's a full-time job.
Who do you have in charge of JSB now?
Tim's been handling that.
Tim,
Yeah.
okay.
Mhm. He's been handling the maintenance and the tanks and all the stuff up there. Then they can help him with that too. I mean, he needs help with things also. And they'll help us out wherever they can with training, all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's a pretty lengthy job description. I'm just looking for someone with a lot of tech experience. And when we first talked about this, it was talked about maybe sharing it with the tech department with Brad, but he doesn't need another employee. He said he doesn't need one, so it would go fully in my office.
Do you have a copy of the job description so we can?
I do have a
Now
copy.
and-
Yep. And I don't know if Wade's gonna have any changes or anything. This is just a draft.
Just consider a
Yep,
draft.
just a complete draft. Any other questions about that? I'll come back with the finalized and we can talk about it on the 12th.
One of the other things we talked about, Amber, especially with the radios, is a central code repository where whatever radio there is, it's identified with what's on that radio. I think from what I learned after the last person was here, it was a hodgepodge of what was on each radio, including things that did not need to be on some of the radios. For example, I had criminal cases where people were showing up that had no business showing up on calls, and they compromised the integrity of the investigation because they were there, because their radios had codes that, I guess, encrypted secure law enforcement channels, and that's been taken care of. And in my conversations with Amber, and Amber can correct me if I'm wrong, every radio has a central code scheme, and then this radio programmer would be able to specify, so whoever the person was that needed to have the radio, they would be assigned whatever radio channels that met their needs, if that makes sense.
Law enforcement has this code.
Yes.
Fire has this code. EMS has this, and, has everything.
The entire county radio system will have a base code, base template for everybody, and then based on your department, you get, your
Extras.
changes. You get your extras or your changes. But it's not gonna be Jesse's radio is different from Bob's, from Tom's, from Tim. It's gonna be very uniform and very easy to understand. I also would like this person to come up with a radio plan, a communications plan, because I've been told that these radios have a shelf life of like 8 years. So we're gonna be coming back in 8 years asking for more radios, so we need to plan for this. We need to get this going. We need to see what we need to do. So that's another thing I need this person to do, is come up with a plan.
Budgeting needs to start
Yes.
day one
Yep.
of the
Yeah.
8 years.
It's a little over $2 million each time we've done this.
Yep.
We've done it twice since I've been here.
How much time did farmers spend
Oh, he's still
dealing with,
Yeah.
he's been here for around 2 years, and he's
Yeah.
still working on the radio.
Still working on it.
It's a significant
Mhm.
time commitment for whoever's dealing with the radios.
Yep. So, it's an important position, and I thought maybe save us a little bit by combining the two and just making it a technician to work on all things. So they'd have to be pretty heavily computer knowledge-based person, to do what we need them to do. Because the radios are little mini computers. If you've ever seen them, Jesse knows that, they're little computers. So.
That's all they are.
Yep. And then along that lines, we got handed a mandate from the state that said that all of our radios had to have a certain, it's called AES encryption. They have to be capable of this AES encryption by 2024. Well, when we did that last radio purchase, I believe Randall and James, so fire and EMS, didn't really know that we were going to pay for everybody's radios, and they didn't have the money to buy new radios, to upgrade, so they kept their old radios. Well, now their old radios are not going to be compliant by 2024. So the radio group is gonna be coming back on the 12th to discuss purchasing radios for them. At the time, they didn't know that we were gonna purchase radios, so they bowed out and said, we'll work with what we got. Well, now what they've got is old and won't work. They don't have to have the AES encryption, they just have to be capable of getting it. So it was some kind of mandate handed down from the state.
I don't think anybody knew we were going to purchase them all.
Mhm.
And I know that, yeah, because I'm on the radio committee, and I know that EMS, and I think a couple of the cities, outlying cities, didn't get quite all they thought they needed because they weren't able to afford it.
Right. Yep. And we're gonna need to upgrade some stuff in dispatch. There's like 12 consulates that we're gonna need to upgrade so that they are AES compliant. I believe fire is gonna need like 62 radios, EMS is gonna need 15, and then my office is gonna need upgrades because we didn't have the AES encryption either, so we're gonna need about 4, so. And we have a quote coming from Motorola. It wasn't here by this morning like I was hoping it would be, but it'll be here by the 12th.
I know Russell was at the helm then, if I remember right, when all this bid stuff came out,
Mhm.
and I guess I'd have to go back and look at the quote, because I thought we included the cities,
We did.
or the police department, the fire department,
Mhm.
everybody.
Well, the fire department didn't, they either, and Scott can tell you a little bit
I thought
more.
that bid of 2
Yeah.
whatever million included
But
everybody.
let me update you on that just a little bit. Yes, it included everybody who got radios, but EMS, fire department, some of them, nobody knew that we were gonna buy them. And so they cut back,
Yes.
and they didn't get everything, that they got the minimum of what they could get, because they couldn't afford to go the whole route at one time.
Which would have
That's the
been,
part I'm not understanding, that we agreed to a contract. I guess I'd have to look at it again, that we were buying everybody radios, and all at once we didn't buy enough radios.
Well,
I believe that it, and Scott can explain this a little better when he comes up, Scott and Randall. I believe they didn't get what they wanted. They went the cheap route.
It was a cheap route, because they did not know we were buying them at the time. Because
That makes more sense.
before, the first time we did it, each organization bought their own.
Yes.
And they thought that was what was gonna happen. And then I sprung the motion out that we buy them, and we
Right.
did, and because I remember Jared's face was like,
Yeah. Mhm. Well, and Randall's too, because
Randall's,
he's got
yeah.
all the fire trucks and firefighters, so.
Right.
So,
but they were very satisfied and pleased that we bought what we bought for them.
right.
So when the bid came in and the list came in of what we were buying, it was a conservative list. Is that what we're trying to say in the long run here?
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, they were.
Yeah.
They were getting what they thought they were.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and we didn't know about this mandate about the AES encryption then either. They just gave that to us not too long ago.
That makes more sense.
I mean, we all could get by with what we got now, if they didn't have this mandate coming. And the way things are traveling on boat from across the seas, we need to get moving on this, because radios are hard to get, so, we can talk more about it on the 12th, about what the price and the cost and everything. And then after that, we gotta start a plan for replacing, if we wanna replace some one year and some the next, or, and I don't know. It's usually better to buy in bulk, it's usually better to buy the same radio, so, I mean, we'll come up with a plan. I want this radio tech person to know everything about the process, so.
So the state is coming down with this mandate.
Mhm.
They're good at that.
What are they gonna do if you're not compliant?
Turn your radio off, not allowed on the state system.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Is there any assistance because the state's mandating it? Of course not.
Of course not. I can't imagine some of the other counties that can barely afford
Yeah.
a full-time
Gas for
emergency
their
manager.
fire
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what's gonna happen. It's horrible. So we can discuss that a little bit more on the 12th. But I just wanted you to see a little bit, I mean, this person is gonna be working with the contractors, working with the quotes, they'll be coming up with the plan and inventory, the budget for the radios, all that stuff. This person will breed radios and sirens, hopefully. So that'll be on the 12th. Any other questions about radios?
I got an old one in my truck.
I don't think it's gonna be compliant.
It's not compliant.
No. I don't think it's gonna work.
I definitely see the need for somebody to program and handle the sheriffs and the fire and
Yeah.
and probably EMS as far as that goes, their system.
Mhm.
Previously, we purchased a
Program.
expensive
Tuner.
programmer and
Tuner,
it's
yeah.
not being utilized to the potential that it
Right.
With
needs
this,
to be.
with this new program,
Mhm.
in their free time, they can program for other counties
Mhm.
like Lyon.
And we have,
And we have, haven't we?
We actually
That
took
was
our
the idea.
machine over to, we took our machine over to Lyon County and helped them do their radios. So, yeah, this person can help out wherever we need to. Yep,
Not free of charge.
not free of charge.
Not free of charge.
Well, they were also let us sit in on some classes that Motorola was giving that, so, I mean, it all works out. Plus you guys have said that you want some updates from offices, so I just want to give you a quick update. Tim just about has all of our yearly training complete. We have Road and Bridge Wolf Creek training next week, and then we are done for the year. He's done a fantastic job of getting everybody up and trained. We had our EOC training this year, and then we've done fire, we've done hospitals, we've done EMS, we've done everybody's done except Road and Bridge. Oh, we did the host counties and the schools too. Julie is working on the Lyon County Wolf Creek plan, and then she's going to start making changes on the Woodson Wolf Creek plan, and then start our Wolf Creek plan. So she's breathing plans right now, which is what I needed. The final Wolf Creek after action report is due back in like 30 days. We did have a level 2 finding, which is not as bad as the level 1. I don't know if you guys remember there at the end when we all came back in the EOC and they, Tim gave us all a RAD briefing. Apparently, somewhere it says that has to have been done every time we respond to an emergency. We have to have a RAD briefing. So putting the dosimeter packets with the information out there, putting it on the wall is not enough. They want someone to actually give a RAD briefing, and we've never done that in the 20 years I've been here, but apparently we were supposed to. So we got a finding for it. We were able to re-demonstrate it. That's what Tim did, is he re-demonstrated it, and so it's closed. It's a closed issue. The National Guard and Highway Patrol at the Ford staging area, which is the JSB, they got the same exact finding because they, just like us, have never done that RAD briefing before. It's hard. It's a hard pill for me to swallow because we do so much planning and so much reading of what they require of us, and then for them to say, well, you should always do this. You should have always done this, but we've never done it, and then you get dinged for it. It's kind of hard, but
Never done it, never got dinged for it.
never got
Until
dinged for it.
now.
Never. 20 years.
They've
They
got-
gotta find something wrong.
They've got a lot of new people, because that
Yes.
wasn't all they caught us
Yes.
on. We had never,
Right.
you know.
Well,
The plume map and stuff.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
caught us on that, and
Yep.
that's what we always went by.
Yep, and they have a planning issue, which is just a planning issue thing. They want us to be able to have in our plan how iPods would crash, and we don't really know how to crash iPods, and we couldn't tell them how iPods would crash, so they want that in our plan. So I got to go back and rewrite that.
What does iPods run off of?
It is web-based, and it goes through servers from FEMA. It's actually FEMA's program. So why they can't tell me how they crash it would be...
Awesome.
But it involves cell phones, it involves weather radios, it involves EAS, it involves more than that. But if any one part of that goes down, everything does. If cell phone towers go down, then we're stuck in the water. So I don't think they fully know or understand what happens when that goes down. So they're expecting us to.
Figure it out for them.
Yeah.
Figured it out.
Yeah. So that'll be due back in 30 days, and I can bring that back up when they have the final. And other than that, we're just working on year-end budget stuff. Any questions for me?
A lot of stuff between now and the end of the year.
Yeah, it's not over yet.
No.
Okay,
Very well.
thank you guys.
Thank you.
You.
See you on the 12th, yes.
Amber, I didn't find an email that you sent me on that, so I just didn't put you on, but it's
Okay.
9:05, okay?
Well, I have 3. I'm gonna need one for me, for the personnel. I'll just read the email.
Okay.
I'll read it. I probably got it drafted and didn't hit send.
Okay.
Thanks.
9:30, a little behind, Carl Lee.
Marilyn Nichols is set to retire on November 3rd is her last day. And I believe you guys have a plaque to present to her for her 30-plus years of service.
We do.
Right, Marilyn.
Here is your plaque from the county
Thank you.
for your 35 years.
30 years.
30 years, 30 years.
It goes properly.
Smile. It's a
Thank you,
smile that you
Marilyn.
get. Thank you, Marilyn.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you like the sheet that goes, protector?
Thank you, guys.
I'm gonna tell this story on Marilyn, because I asked Marilyn, I said, Marilyn, what are you gonna do when you retire? And she said, I think I'm just gonna go out and drive the roads in surrounding counties and look at lagoons.
Oh, it really becomes part of your life after 30 years. It wasn't easy.
I could only imagine. Only
But I
imagine.
loved it. Thank you, guys.
Well,
Enjoy your retirement.
enjoy the retirement, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I will.
Don't think about lagoons or the county or, just enjoy
Except for when
it.
your taxes go up.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn. Yeah, exactly.
Guys, just a minute real quick.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry to come unannounced.
You're fine.
But, I wanted to come and give you, again, some good news, some positives. And I didn't know if Monday, the next couple, 3 Mondays, it's going to be busy. But anyway, again, first of all, thank you again for your service. You guys just do a terrific job with everything in the county. And you have terrific employees. You need to hear this, whether it's Angie and her people in her office, or Carl and the health department, or Bobby Skipper and economic development, or whomever, just really good people to work with. And I wanted to come and give you, again, some positives. I know we're going to be getting ready for a construction project. Sheriff Johnson and Under Sheriff Smith have been really good to work with Mark Davidson and our people in the school district to address the parking and the traffic flow. We know it's going to be a challenge. We know there's not a perfect solution, but I wanted you to hear that there's planning going on, preparation going on to try to make it as seamless as possible and make the best of a challenging situation. And we'll all work together, and we'll do that because that's what we do. So anyway, wanted to give you a little bit of information. I wrote a scholarship grant for some of our Burlington Early Learning Center families to be able to give them $50 a week tuition scholarship, and we were able to get that money, that grant, from the Jones Trust out of Emporia. And there were 5 grants that we were able to do. One of the 5 recipients is actually a county employee, so it does help out with their family and that. And we're at capacity at the Early Learning Center. We're writing a proposal to extend our license to, I think, 10 or 12 additional kids to be able to have in the Early Learning Center, and we'll know more about that here in the next month. So again, just very excited for that. And just a quick bit of information, they're going to start breaking ground on our field turf projects for the baseball, football, and softball fields at the high school here, which will be great for the community and economic development, hopefully, potentially, with bringing in tournaments and different activities. It'll just be an investment in our community and in our county, and for the school district as well. So those are just a few quick positives I just needed to share with you. And again, just cannot thank you enough. The people that we work with are terrific, whether, like I said, it doesn't matter who we work with. It could be Wade with the county and the county attorney piece, or whomever, just a lot of really good people. So any quick questions or anything? I don't want to hold you up on your agenda.
I don't have anything other than appreciate the positive input.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You always hear about the bad stuff. It's nice to hear a little good news.
That is very good.
I think there's a song out there like
Well,
that.
it is. It's always here. Again, it's always good to hear the good things. So again, thank you very much and happy holidays. If I don't see you before.
Thank you.
I know working on the new facility is gonna be a challenge for
It will be.
everybody, I believe.
We'll figure it out, and
Yeah.
we'll again just work with the challenges that come. They're just
Right.
challenges. That's all.
I think it was Johnson's idea of the parallel, or not parallel, but off-street parking, starting at 8th is a good
Right.
idea. I think it'd be advantageous anytime, because I know when you guys have ball tournaments, this parking lot's full, everything's full, so,
Sure.
I think it'll help.
Yeah. Put people together, and we usually come up with some way, some good ideas. So again, thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, we've reached our 10:50 break time. We'll shy and do a 10-minute break. Yeah, just come back at 10 o'clock, how's that? That'll be a 15-minute break, then we'll do checks and vouchers.
Do we have any?
Yeah, they're all sticked over there, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll just break until 10 o'clock, how's that? 10 o'clock by my clock. Verizon.
Unless they develop.
Verizon time. We're back. There's for the resolution 893 or whatever it was. The last week. You guys wanna do checks and vouchers and then round table, how you wanna do it, or you wanna do round table? Wade's not here, I'm sure he's got something.
Whatever you want to do.
We can see if he's got something.
You might as well.
Yeah,
Your business
we
taken
can,
care of.
it's all business, Bob.
I know. Just sit around and watch us sign our
Sign
name.
papers.
It's all business, is correct. That's last week. Is Bobby here this week, today?
I'm assuming he is.
Could we have him come up and tell us the cost of the fall festival?
Okay.
I just wanted to put it out there. I've had some people ask about it. So I said I had no idea, but we can find out. This one here.
Hey, Angie, while you're up.
Yep.
Would you call down, see if Bobby's here, and see if he's got a report on the fall festival?
A report on the fall festival?
Yep. Financial
Pull
deal?
them out on there.
That was the original, yeah. yet. Oh, we have it, oh, that's right, we won't do it yet.
Yeah.
That's right.
Leave the vacation, you wanna look at those payroll checks?
No answer.
No answer?
So, you probably go with another book, so, just a check.
Well, I think there was some of that 960, monies in there. The sick leave,
Oh, yeah.
flip through them and you'll see some higher amounts. One of them's
Oh, okay.
payroll, and then there's the sick leave time that was paid for.
I think I just,
Mail came while I was walking out.
Mail came?
We'll wait headed this way.
Mail call.
And it's just like, what are you doing?
I sent him a text.
Okay. That'll work. Wade, we're to checks and vouchers. Didn't know if you had any words of wisdom for us today.
If they're words of wisdom, as you probably saw in your email, that sort of exploded a little bit last week. The bond issue is alive and well, and I didn't know if there was gonna be an update on that. I don't have all the paperwork, there were too many emails and pages to print, but, I believe they're out for public offering, and I believe they're scheduled to,
December 5th.
yep, December 5th, so.
The
More.
county was a AAA or AA rating.
Yep, AA, and Greg Berenberg was very complimentary of the county. I think Angie and Richard did quite a bit of work behind the scenes to provide Greg Berenberg the information he needed to provide it to, S&P so they could get that valuation. So I did see the email where he was very, positive about the county's financial status, and that he doesn't see very many entities like this end up with a rating that Coffee County did, especially in our current economic times. Is that a pretty fair summary? So, I know that's not on the agenda for today, but I think it's a worthy topic to bring up, considering the bond issue is alive and well and moving forward.
Well, I'm sure it was a lot of work for Angie and Richard, and there's many thanks for the hard work.
And years of hard work.
And years of hard work.
Saying that. Reverse, so.
Yes. And the past commission. Bob's been at it for 16 years, right? Do you have any executive sessions for us today?
I do not. I don't have any plans, but we may go around and somebody may have their own. The one thing I do want to bring up, the law firm that's assisting, you see David Cooper, Charles Branson, there's a couple other attorneys involved. It's the Fisher Patterson firm. They're helping with the CHIPS project side of things. Their first invoice has come in, and need to know where you're wanting to see that pulled from, as far as the what fund. And then once that's done, then I can go and take the invoice and have it submitted so that you can
this is all reimbursable if we get the CHIP Act funding.
Correct.
But we wanna be cautious. Of course, we're gonna be a couple of years out for our 10 million, or up to 10 million contribution to the jail, so I think we're still okay there.
Should we create a CHIPS fund?
Well, you know, the purchase that we just made for the CHIPS fund came out of Community Improvement Reserve, which takes it down to approximately 2 million left in it. I would say that probably we could use some of that up, and then if this year when we transfer, we can transfer money into that, back into that, because we've already taken out approximately 2/3 of it to commit right there.
Well, and that was something I was gonna talk to you about in roundtable, but, I was just looking over the funds. Are you still wanting to do year-end transfers this year? I guess that's my first question before I start going and blabbing too much.
I would say, yeah,
I don't know what to do.
unless you wanna do them.
I don't care to do it.
Okay.
Okay, so as I was looking through the numbers, to build that jail project, I think we would have enough to make it be 10,490,000. And then I planned on suggesting that you guys put $1 million into, community improvement reserve. That would fully fund the jail fund, and then that would put $1 million back into the community improvement. And that would be about, there'd be a few other transfers, but that would be about it. So I didn't know if that's the direction you wanted.
That would make it about, 3 million.
Yeah, it would be.
So we could actually start paying some of this out here, and then if things start going different, when it's refunded, it could come back into that,
Right.
correct?
Right.
Yeah. And it should be enough to sustain, to get the project going through that. Would be my suggestion.
At least until some of the CID money
Mhm.
comes in, or we do a loan through a bank for the CID funds, then we can reimburse, I think we can reimburse the loan funds back to the accounts that we pulled money from.
Yes.
Yeah.
So initially,
That's
it's not
what I
really
was-
gonna, it's really not going to hurt the funds. It is right now. But if we could go and do a $10 million loan at a bank, replenish all the funds that we have spent for the CHIP into our accounts, and still have money in an account for the CID. Is that the way I understood it, Wade, the other day?
Which part?
So now that we've created the CID, we can go and get a loan from a bank or several banks for whatever estimated CID 10 years is going to be.
So the
Say it's $1 million a year, so it's $10 million.
and I think that's one of the things that resolution
Yes,
was passed last week allowed.
us to
Right.
move that money over to the county to help fund, to pay for the stuff, the monies that is being spent within the CID from our accounts now.
I believe I'm tracking. I think that's right. There may be some caveats to that, but generally speaking.
Yeah, you're pretty close, but the question Wade has today is where we're gonna take this money to pay David Cooper from today.
Right, no,
And
yeah.
that's what I'm,
Right,
yeah, I understand, we can move a lot of other stuff with the
Right.
CID, but as of right now, we need and we basically, in a sense, started taking it from there, so.
Right, and I still think a person should take it from there, but there's gonna be a point in time we gotta
We gotta
replenish that.
replenish it, that's
Yeah.
exactly right.
That's where I was
Yeah.
going on that side.
And I think you'll be able to with that, yeah.
And that'll come through as a special issue because I didn't get it through and I wanted to make sure I knew where you wanted it to come from before it got submitted. The second part of that is, as you're aware, the time is of the essence, and the law firm that's involved is spending probably, a significant amount of time up front, because for the county to be competitive for this CHIPS funding and this CHIPS project, there are a lot of interlocal agreements, you saw one of the public-private partnership agreements come through several weeks ago. A lot of these things are being created from scratch, and to make sure that they intersect both local law, state law, and federal law. That's why they're involved. They have Fisher Patterson has what I call a team of attorneys who are working on this project and working with Bobby and all the other entities and players involved to give Coffee County probably the best shot at to be as competitive as any place can be for this funding. So
I just had a question pop in my head. Are we sure they are not helping any other community or any other counties with this chip?
Not that I'm aware of. I think they are solely helping
That's
Coffee County.
that's something that we probably should have brought up prior to, that they're solely.
So their attorneys, they would have a duty and obligation. That's more of an attorney-client issue, so I think if they're helping somebody else, they'd have a duty to disclose, I think, their duty and obligation for what they're doing right now is to Coffee County.
I guess that answers my question.
I mean, I don't think you need to be concerned with that particular issue. So, you answered my question, so that'll come through here shortly.
Angie, did you have, you was in the mix of stuff, so.
No, I'm fine, I just.
Continue.
Well, so if things go kind of like what I'm thinking they will, if you want to go ahead and pay those out of community improvement reserve, I think you'll be fine.
That's what I'd suggest.
So do you have those there?
No, I need to go take it through, so it'll end up being.
We don't need a motion, we don't need a motion to pull that out of there, do we? Okay.
The only other thing is just to make sure, similar to the funds for the real estate purchase last week, that it's allocated in the $10 million is out there somewhere where it's still on the books and we can keep track of it. I don't think it's allocated, everybody knows it, just so it's not an issue later on down the road, and probably putting it into the designated fund for later on down the road is the best way to, maybe for accounting, to keep it where it needs to be, if that makes sense. Am I right in, that's what you were saying, putting that $10 million into
The jail parking.
yeah. And
Well-
just having it sit.
Okay, so we've already funded $6 million to it, and at the end of this year, I should be able to pull funds to make it be $10 million.
But the 10 million is there, it's just sort of spread out.
Right now, yeah.
It's hidden,
Till the end
not
of the
hidden,
year,
but-
we will have 10 million.
It's throughout
Just
several
so-
different accounts.
Right. It just needs to be in a central location, which is what you're gonna do.
Yeah, we've already got it made.
Yeah.
And right now, I think it's got 6 million, and it'll show up on their spreadsheet like Tom's got at the end of this month. I asked Richard to put it on there. So when I do year-end transfers, then all of these will combine and you'll see 10 million at the end of December,
Okay.
which is, I think, what you needed for the bond.
Yes.
Yes.
And, another thing on this, we got 2 invoices from Greg Varenberg, one from the S&P, and I went ahead and initialed them, and we're taking out the jail project fund, because I think that's what you guys said to do going forward with anything, and then we'll probably have to go back and do journal entries to pull any money out of there, so. That should be, kind of talking 2 things there, but.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorting in my head.
A lot of moving parts.
A lot of moving parts.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only gonna get worse,
Now,
crazier.
once it starts rolling, it'll just be so much easier, I think. That's
It
usually the way
very
it is.
well could. It
It's
very
usually the
well.
way it is for me on some of my projects. Just once you get it off the ground and get it rolling, then everything falls right into place. It goes easy.
While we got Wade here for advice, it had been brought up in Dawn's absence. He asked that, if it's possible, that the 2 incoming commissioners, if there's any executive sessions that regards the CHIPS, that if they can be included, and I didn't think they could,
Not till they're sworn in.
not until they're sworn in.
Because they're not officially, I mean, I understand and it makes sense, but it can't happen. When they're live
That they can be.
and sworn in,
That's
then,
why I remembered it.
then they can be updated, but not until then.
Next question, he would like to be, via telephone call next week in our meeting, just basically sitting back listening to the meeting via telephone, so.
I don't see an issue with that, and I'm pleased to hear that he's, gonna be able to participate.
Yeah, hope it will. Any more roundtable waiting? No?
Not for me, for today.
Angie, got anything else?
I do have this report I told you about, the final total on.
Oh, for
that you
the
guys initialed.
election?
Yeah, we've got everything. So you can just initial at the bottom here.
Okay.
We added originals there.
Mhm.
Should be
You said
four.
initial or something?
You can sign.
Hey, I was just wondering if he was leaving. It's my round table might have one.
Did he take the, you don't think he took the report, did he? I screwed up my signature on that one. Oh.
Time on yourself?
Yeah.
After December the
So,
20th.
anybody get to see Jeff Dunham's new act?
I didn't know we had a new one.
Oh, yeah, it's awesome. Me the People.
Need the people, huh?
Yep. Get a chance.
I'll have to take a look.
I could only imagine.
It's a classic. It was Friday it came on. Shelley's out Black Friday shopping, and I came home from hunting and got cleaned up and sat down, and there it was.
I'll be darned. Need the people.
Pretty interesting. Didn't know. You got any roundtable, Tim? It's to wait my turn, so.
I was informed over the weekend there will be a meeting at the hospital board the hospital board and, the public on the Sunset Manor.
That's tonight.
That's today at 3:30.
Anybody welcome?
Yes, it is open to the public, I was informed.
That has to be.
I know Tom's been wanting to forgive the 1 point whatever, it's suggested it several times. And this would probably have to go on a ballot. Is there something about a sales tax that a person could add to the county that would help fund, give more money to the hospital? Can that be done? You know,
Well,
like a
again,
half
the
a cent,
Sunset
40
Manor
cents?
isn't a money issue, it's a staffing issue.
Right, no, I
They're-
understand that.
I mean, we approved the mill levy to generate 2 million last year, if I remember correct.
Right.
So, and they're doing as per request, seeing where things are happening to remedy, but again, the closing of Sunset Manor is staffing up.
It's a staffing issue, right, and I was just going on the hospital itself, more funding for the hospital, but that was just
They haven't really been in asking for more funding.
I know they haven't, I know.
But I just thought if we took the 1 point whatever million out of there, that would be one less thing they have to consider in their budget, and then
Just something that I thought, but Pastor Byers helped fund the hospital too.
oh, yeah. That is a
Yeah.
thought.
You know, think about it too, if you had to add a county tax onto it, what are you gonna do with the taxes in Burlington and Vito? Since they're, and all the other island communities that already have taxes, you're going to increase them too.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty soon you're gonna tax yourself out of business.
I just to throw out there, I'm sure it'd have to go on a vote. Like I said, I know, it's something, just food for thought, I don't know, just round table.
Well, you know, if something sunset that manor down,
Right.
800, or what, 800,000 or whatever they missed, that's gonna be more into their pocket for something else.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've heard that there's a good chance that they may be shutting, Yates Center down too. The clinic at
The
Yates
clinic
Center.
in Yates Center.
Yeah, because it's not doing very well. They're having staffing
Don't
problems.
they have one in Osage City as well?
No.
They don't have, or in Osage
They're
County?
just within the county, if I remember correctly. Grizzly, Roy.
Yates Center is the only one out of the county.
That is true. So mine was gonna be the real estate deal we did last week, and then, the present owner, I think it was in there 120 days to basically vacate. Why can't we just let them be there? That way we don't have to worry about utilities and this and that and the other. They just ensure it stay there till we do whatever.
I don't think there's, in my eyes, there's zero need to hurry the residents out of the property.
My only concern is how long,
You gotta have a date, you gotta have a
You
time.
gotta have a date.
You gotta have an end date.
Well, I agree to that, but they're,
The big one came
Up to a year, up to,
and then how long is
15
that
months?
notice?
But who came up with the date, him or Bobby?
I would say
I think
it's a
it's just
standard,
standard
I'd
deal,
say it's
probably.
a standard wording of
I
the
mean,
real estate agreement.
it was just a thought I had. I think it would just save us in the long run having to concern ourselves with
I like that, but
insurance and so.
we
on, so.
will need a date of when we tell him that he's gotta get out of there, and how long does he have to get out of there?
True.
Well, when it becomes ours, we're gonna have to insure whether somebody's living there or not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
So that, insurance is not a problem.
You're self-insured, I wouldn't worry too much about it, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay, now that we're on that subject, what are we gonna do with the home property?
Well, I believe when I talked to Skipper this morning, there's individuals tied to CHIPS Act to possibly be interested, so.
Okay.
So that's
Cause
what-
I mean, person's gonna have to get that surveyed and knocked out and designated as a home site.
True, but I think
That way a person could market it
that's true.
if you wanted to.
What would you put in there, 20?
Just a thought.
You're gonna have to, cause back off the roadway, so you're gonna have to have a little bit more than
I
five.
think.
There's the other thing is somebody being there full-time, you wouldn't have to worry about security, vandalization. There's several reasons why I suggest it, so. And I do agree, you have to have an end date, but it could be the time.
Yeah, pretty do 15 months.
Find another buyer.
But at the same time, the guy's gonna have someplace to go, he might be willing to rent for a while too, to
Right,
stay there.
right.
I mean,
Right,
exactly. I just seem like we make agreements and then all the next thing we know, a week later, we wanna
Mhm.
change our agreements. Now, sometimes we need to think some of these things out before we,
By study sessions, it'd be nice. But yeah, that one came to us quick, but anyway.
Well, yeah, we didn't plan on doing
Closing
didn't plan on
isn't,
it.
closing isn't here yet, so
Right.
prior to closing, maybe we can rethink that and let Bobby communicate with the.
What is your rough estimate on the building, the house, and the lake? If you'd go in there off the county road, include the lake to go with the house and the shed.
I think you're just gonna wanna put that pond, the pond that's got the rock around it, in with the house. And then probably back up to the east fence, and then south to the 50 highway. I mean, you're gonna wanna keep as much real estate as possible,
Yeah.
because that's the whole reasoning for purchasing it.
that's the point behind it.
You know, so, I mean,
Well, my concern is, like I say, somebody's not there, we got vandalism.
Right.
We got people just showing up out of the blue, so.
I'm gonna jump on my map real quick.
So the 120 days, I mean, you can potentially put something together to keep somebody there, but with time limits that are currently in place that deal with the chip side of it, you'll know a whole lot more once.
In 120 days.
In 120
Yeah,
days.
In 120 days, and hopefully before 120 days, but in the meantime, I mean, you can put something together to make it to where that person or somebody else can stay there. You just have to, I mean, you had to have an end time. Now, does that need to be negotiated right now? I'm not sure. In fact, it may be something that Bobby or Cameron Roth need to address, and then maybe figure out a little better timeline on when this, the CHIPS application process is, and it's, when that's due, because that seems to be a moving target at times, because we thought it was December, then we thought it was January, and I don't even know when that date is anymore.
It's moving.
So if it keeps moving, then what I hear is the county is flexible and is willing to work with the current occupant. And as long as they're flexible as well, then I think you have, I mean, that's what you want.
The 120 days doesn't start till we sign the contract, so the contract
Right.
is signed
True,
anyway.
I just
so
thought I'd have that
that's still
discussion
a couple
now.
of weeks off.
I'm looking at the aerial map
Have
of
a
the
discussion.
property. And his lagoon is clear back to the north of the shed.
And there may already be a conversation that deals with the property you're talking about, so I don't know if there is, there may not be,
I
but,
spoke to Skipper this morning, I don't,
okay.
as far as a actual size or corner points or nothing like that's been established, it's just potential people that might be interested in it, having to do with the CHIPS Act, so. But I was thinking, not running them out too soon, that way, like say, vandalization, all the above, winterization,
Sure.
everyday kind of stuff.
I'm dealing with that with, property in Michigan.
Yeah.
Had a furnace go out and someone went in and it was 38 degrees inside and it was gonna only get colder.
Yep. That was my reason for saying it. We had a discussion now as opposed to before closing, that way everybody's on the same page, so.
Look at the aerial map, Tim, when you get a chance and see what you think. With that lagoon sticking way back there to the west, it's hard to.
I forgot about
Way back
that.
to the north.
There's ways to remedy that too, though.
Yeah, there is.
I say everything from the mowed strip along the driveway to the creek to the west. That's gonna include the pond. And then you go down quite a bit of property.
Wait and see.
Yeah, we'll just have to see.
Just start bringing it up.
Yeah, I'm not in a hurry for the residents to vacate because.
Maybe the buildings need a pond.
It'll be into April anyway, even if you stick with it, it's gonna be into April, so there's plenty of time to figure it out.
Do you have any other?
That was it.
Bob?
No.
Andrew?
Just one thing, Whitney Dameron's contract will need to be renewed by the end of December. But there is also one additional person that's here interested in it, so I didn't know how you want to do that with the, and it's been a kind of a standard yearly agreement. I didn't know if you want to consider other options.
I would be all for considering other options.
What's the best way to bring those?
I would say interview them both. Honestly, we only see Whitney about once, maybe twice a year.
Whenever it's time to renew the contract.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a set fee, so maybe the next one's got a
Maybe his fee will come down.
better fee.
Yeah.
Send out for bids.
So get that going before, because that'll have to be by the end of the year.
By the end of the year, yeah. Time's running out on the end of the year, unfortunately.
Do you want to get a hold of him to see if next week is possible, or do you want me?
Yeah, I can call.
Okay.
You wanna do it that soon though, if you haven't?
What about the other person? We need to do them both one day.
So if I remember in the past with Whitney, he comes in and
About
gives
the
his
second week
feel.
in December, yeah.
Second week in December.
So he sent an email saying, let him know when we would want him.
Or if we didn't want him, he'd just pay for it. Just pay us $5,000 and he'd keep representing us for whatever he does for the county.
Good question. AAC also, but we pay them, they're supposed to represent us, do they?
Mhm. Yeah, I know. Need to figure out how. Yeah.
Is the other person local?
Yes, any
Well,
county.
I'd say if it's others in county, we definitely need to interview them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
No question about that. I don't know.
When was Whitney coming? Or
It usually comes about the second week of December.
so the 12th usually.
Oh, well, you need, I didn't know how much time you'd want after that to make a decision, because usually when he comes, the contract's signed right then.
Mhm.
Yeah. You wouldn't have to sign it till the 26th.
I don't think it'd take too long to make a decision.
The 28th.
After you interview them.
Or unless you wanna interview them next week, I mean,
Well, yeah, I mean, if the local guy, whoever it is, could come in next Monday, then Whitney comes in on the 12th, then we can have a decision made. Or have a better idea.
Sooner the better.
But suggestion only, not a request.
But are you gonna interview Whitney, or are you just gonna listen to what he has to say and take that as an interview?
You could take that as an interview, I would think.
I think I mean, if I remember right, he comes in, presents what he's been doing and what he plans on doing. He puts together a summary sheet which has his fee, and then questions are asked, and it goes from there, if I remember correctly, isn't that?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Would the second one do the same thing? Or would that be more of a executive session?
You gotta remember, the other person that comes in has not been doing this.
Right.
So it's,
Would be,
he's gonna have, the other one's gonna have to tell us what he thinks he's capable of doing and all this stuff with us. It's,
I would
I think.
assume it would need to be in an open session, because there's not anything that they would be talking about that would need to be discussed in a closed session. It would be how they would represent the county as a lobbyist, is in essence what it would be. So, speaking of the 12th, and I forgot to mention it, and I think it's on the agenda, Angie can correct me if I'm wrong, for the 12th, the NextEra people are coming. Tim and I had a meeting with them several weeks ago. I think they went around to all the counties and met with people outside, or the attorneys and a commissioner or some other representative from each of the counties, and I believe that was Coffee County, Anderson County, Allen County, and maybe others. They met with myself and Tim first, and they had 2 attorneys from the Posinelli law firm, and then 7 or 8 different representatives from NextEra who were tied to different parts of their operation. For example, an engineer, one of their attorneys, and people from all over the country, Louisiana, New York, Florida, I mean, and the optics from this end were explained to them, and what it looked like from this level. And I believe they are coming in to present to each of the county commissions in Coffee, Anderson, and Allen counties, from what I understand. And then they're gonna set up public forums or public meetings so the public can go out and meet with them at different places, not only in Coffee County, but in Anderson County and Allen County as well, is my understanding. And some of the input and feedback that Tim and I passed on, hopefully they'll be presenting to this board and to the local community about what it is they're doing, why, and how they're going to address some of the local concerns. So everything from what their towers will look like, because we've seen pictures that are not actual pictures, some examples of similar transmission lines that have been put in other locations, of what they look like and how they dealt with that, some of the how they will handle and navigate some of the concerns of local residents and citizens who don't want a high power transmission line running over the front of their house or the top of their house. I think what their anticipated route is going to be, that has to be cleared by the KCC. One of the things that Tim and I talked about with them were, and I think it's been brought up in this forum, is the current high power transmission line north of the plant. You walk underneath it, there's some walking trail, and how loud it is. and that was mentioned to them, and they said that's old technology. Engineering has come a long way since then, and the noise that would come from the current transmission line would be what did they say, 20 decibels?
20 decibels.
20 decibels, which is significantly lower than if you walk out. So those are all things that hopefully they're gonna present on and update the commission on, as well as the public, when the public forums take place. Because the concern is, they were here the one time and then they haven't been back, and they need to come back and fill in this board and the local community on what they're doing and what their plan is, and how they're gonna address the concerns of the local citizens.
So, what's the difference between us interviewing and hiring a lobbyist, which at one time I didn't think you could spend public money for lobbyists, but evidently that's been changed some. Than interviewing for a road superintendent. What's the difference in that? Just because the lobbyist goes in Topeka, and we're still trying to find out the best employee that we have. They're still working for us, so what's the difference?
I don't know.
I mean, because you said one, that we could do them in public meeting. Well, we could interview all of our applicants for road superintendent or whatever, being public meetings too, because all they're gonna do is give us the public information that everybody ought to know anyway.
I guess if you're gonna interview Whitney Dameron in an open session, then the other applicant should be.
I wasn't thinking with him, Whitney can come give his report, but I was thinking he should have an interview just like the other person.
Okay.
He can give his report.
Okay.
Which he does.
What you do for one, you need to do for the other, is all I'm saying.
Because he's still on our payroll until the end of December, so his report is something that he owes us anyway.
Sure. If you're gonna interview two applicants and you wanna do both of them behind closed doors in an executive session, then I guess I don't necessarily see an issue with it, but I need to digest it a little more.
More information.
They're not necessarily going to be a county employee, they're gonna have a contract, right?
Right.
So anyways, I'll chew on that, and we can, I don't know how long has Whitney been with the county? It's been for a long time, right?
I think since 2007.
Longer than that.
That was the first one I have recorded in the city.
So I don't know how that all came about, what the impetus was, and Whitney Dameron being hired by the county. That's long before my arrival, but there's probably something that we can look back on somewhere and figure that out. And did he just come in? Were there others that were interviewed?
I have no idea. For me.
Gotta go to the archives. Mothballs.
But we never had anybody come in and want that position before
Right.
either. I mean, that was it. So now that we have someone, especially someone local, I think we should at least give them.
That's what I was getting at. Do we do both of them the same up front, or do we go to executive session to interview both of them for a continuance of Whitney and for the other? That was mine.
So we're gonna start doing all the interviews up front?
Well,
Shouldn't be anything in the interview, very seldom, I mean, and, you know, of course, I guess maybe their salaries and that stuff, but.
I think this is different than an employee. This is a service.
The bonding people
Yeah.
right here.
This is more of
We
a
did.
service to the county versus an employee. Well, I look at it.
Doesn't matter to me, like, you guys, whatever. I don't-
So we're gonna have Whitney come in next week, next Monday. For his
He's coming in
report.
on the 12th.
On the
Well,
12th.
he's not scheduled yet, he just normally comes about
Oh,
the second week,
Right,
but he
so
can
we
come
can
next.
schedule him for the report. He can give us.
You ought to be able to give it next week.
Yeah, if he's available.
Send him a message.
And we can review his contract at a later date. Got to figure some logistics out on that.
So, if we interview them both here, then we have to discuss it and make our decision, public meeting too.
Not necessarily.
No, you could go, yeah, you could go to executive
Okay.
session to discuss.
Okay.
You'd leave them out. You'd
Right,
leave the
right,
two
yeah,
out.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, you could. I mean, I feel it's a service to the county and to the citizens of Coffee County. I feel that it should be in public. And then we can go visit and come back and throw two motions out. And either one is accepted, one's denied.
I think the subject matter that they would discuss is what they would provide to the county from the legislative level. And it would be, in my opinion, I don't know why you wouldn't want that to be discussed openly, unless there's some sort of special information that the county receives or the commissioners receive that is not publicly disseminated. But anything that I've seen that comes from Whitney Damron is sent by email to me, to Angie, to Andrea, and then there's a report that's attached to it, and then it's disseminated to the commissioners. Is that what you see? I mean, so I don't think there's anything that would be provided behind closed doors that but you may disagree. I think what those services would be, since they're being paid for with taxpayer money, they can say, here's what we have, here's what I have to offer the local governing body that could also be disseminated to the public, and there'd be, you know, at election time, the updates or what bills are going through or what has a local flavor that Coffee County would be interested in. I know from time to time, there are emails that come through that have a news article attached. That I remember the most recent one was the one from the Wichita Eagle that had the article that sort of talked about Coffee County and Wichita and the CHIPS project and the APEX side of things. So those are the things that I think that I remember that come through. There may be other emails, but it's all information that if somebody wanted it is for public consumption, nothing that is not publicly disseminated.
Clerk, none? Any other round here? Anybody else had anything else pop in their head since they was asked? Okay.
Nobody got hold of Bobby.
No,
He hasn't responded.
it hasn't responded yet. Not here,
He
or
was,
he was here and then left?
he was in his office when I got here, and then he was waiting to get on a phone call conference or something.
Okay.
So that might be what he called it.
He might be available by the time we get done signing checks and vouchers.
So, we're gonna get ahold of this other person to have him come in Monday or what? Or he's gonna still digest?
Yeah, we need to digest a little bit.
Okay.
If it's available, if it's possible, yes, next Monday would be.
I mean, we got
Great.
till 26th. No, actually, let's check the vouchers, 28th.
Today.
No, next month.
Next month. Be 28, wouldn't it?
28th is today.
Yeah, I think so, 28th.
So, I forgot when the
27th, we're doing the 27th.
This Christmas holiday is the 26th.
I got checks
Correct.
for the 27th.
Yeah, we're doing the 27th.
And then we have to be here on the 30th also.
Mhm.
Correct, yes.
30th or 29th. Have to look at our holiday schedule.
Yeah, it would have to be the 29th because 30th you probably got holiday because that's a fall in this year. Is that correct?
But holiday, the first is on Sunday, so Monday would be the
Monday's the
holiday.
holiday, okay.
Okay.
All right, so yeah, 30th you'll have to be here.
Okay, yeah.
So we have to be here December 30th?
Yeah. You're in.
And the 27th.
So we'll do Tuesday the 27th and then the 30th.
Yep.
So Monday is the holiday.
Yep,
Yeah.
Because I know last year we flipped it back.
and the same as New Year's. Monday's the holiday.
Mhm.
It's either the day before or the day after the holiday, depending on which day.
If it's on Saturday, it's holiday is Friday. If it's on Sunday, it's on Monday.
Right.
But I think we did that backwards last year because the feds did it different.
Yeah, I think
So
so. There was something weird last
they-
year.
Yeah, there was something.
They flipped it because originally that's how it was set up, and they made, the feds made the Friday before the holiday instead of Monday. So I don't know what they've done this year.
We don't worry about what the feds do.
Yeah, what the feds have done this year,
They don't know what they're
let me
doing.
make a list.
They don't even know. I guess we'll start our checks and vouchers. The boring time for YouTube land and the audience in the house. Boredom starts. I'll move to authorize Andrea to buy a new clock for the commission room. My goodness gracious. Oh, good Lord, thank you.
Christmas probably have some nice clocks up there.
First time since 2000, we could see the state check.
That is a stack of checks.
We did. So we can get the lump check.
Phew.
Back in. Thank you, sir. This is fortunate at our house. I'm kind of like the local teams with her. Something that I thought was mine.
His state was, like it was gonna rain soon.
That was a good game. Oh, okay. Michigan had a good game. Seen that.
First time since 2000, they beat Ohio at Ohio.
That was a packed house. There were more people there.
Usually is.
KU basketball got upset pretty bad, Tennessee. I don't think they led 1 second of that game, ever took the lead.
I didn't even know basketball season was going.
Yeah. I don't watch it. Only when there's something that interests me.
So Whitney responded, he's got a conflict next Monday, but he can be here the 12th.
Do it the 12th, that'll give more time to get the other stuff lined up.
Payroll stuff, I don't get too deep into it.
Where's that at?
Chiefs and Treasurer's office.
Treasurer's office.
I don't know where it's aimed at.
Don't put it out if you want reimbursed.
We must entertain a lot of guests in this county.
A lot of meals.
A lot of meals, I know. But I don't know if anyone was bad.
$2,400.
On some of those beginning, we paid mileage, somebody, how much was the mileage? How much, what did we pay, huh?
62.
62.5, okay, I thought that was, okay, 65, okay, it's okay. Just thought maybe it made a mistake.
Thanksgiving dinner for the county was $2,400. And 8 inmates.
Well, that's just for that, that includes your pie and all that.
No, that's just the food, the main course, yeah. Ham, potatoes, beans, ham, potatoes, and beans, yeah.
Cheaper than McDonald's.
Yeah, I hate to see that. Ooh.
So, here's a contract for, extension for, mowing and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Did they include that for next year's budget?
I think we told them to include their snow removal
Yeah.
and their mowing in through their budgeting.
I just wondering, because if not, we should have told them that.
I believe that was mentioned.
Okay.
Okay, so that's without tax, or without tax, okay, all right, thanks.
We'll have to clean this crop cards again.
There's $46,000 for Motorola system contract.
Radios aren't cheap.
No. We are doing testing at the office with MT Networks out of Lebo. They're shooting from the water tower to my office with that new internet that they're doing up there. So we're doing a 30-day trial with them, and so far it has been spot on. Awesome.
Has it been faster for you?
So,
What do you have it for?
Quick home.
QuickCom, they're faster than.
Noticeable
I mean,
difference then.
And my son, he had come off Highway 50, off the fiber there to the house that he's living in there. And he said he's a, wow. Wow.
Wow. Speechless.
Which, he's more into the internet stuff than what I am. And I mean, I have
There.
yeah, it's no buffering, no, absolutely, it's just there. There's no. I said, it'll be fine until somebody cuts that expensive cord that runs down the ditch.
Mm-hmm. No more drilling post holes without telling.
Ooh, that's an expensive post.
Our internet's been down for 10 days. We're on the phone line now. They're supposed to be there, I think, put that NT in today, I think, off of the elevator there to go on. But, you know, I don't suppose we're gonna get any rebate off of our phone bill.
Yeah, I guarantee you there won't be.
They know where the problem is. They got 250 foot of wire. You know, it's bad.
I know, a lady, her phone was down for about a week. She just refused to pay it, and phone companies finally said, okay, we'll just deduct it from your phone bill. And they did.
Yeah, they should.
I had a problem with my home phone for a month, so being me, I decided to call them and sign up for new service. And I went through the whole process and got down and they looked up and they said, yeah, you already have a phone with us. I said, well, it hasn't worked for a month. I said, I thought maybe if I signed up for a phone service, mine would get repaired. And within 3 days, I had
This deal of ours, they know where it's at, and won't come lay a new line. 250 foot of line they need to put in.
And the
I say within the next 10 years, it won't be there.
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you imagine how much money the phone companies have lost since the cell phones and all this wireless stuff went
Exactly.
But
upside down?
we built our new house, they refused to give the line.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't even do it for us. Said no lines available. We dropped 3 lines at my old house, because we previously had my office there. 3 lines, and they said I couldn't have 1 line at the new house. Said, guess what, I think you're right, I don't need one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you mention it, I'll just save that bill.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we lose internet at the office. Our whole dispatch system.
Oh, that's
Shut
what we've
people
been
down.
battling. We went and bought some deal to, you know, try to run it off the cell phone so Tim can have some limited stuff, and my wife does all the payroll and, you know, does direct deposit, and it's just totally messes everything up.
Yep.
Key-doke. Landscape. Where was the landscaping done for Wilnut? Wilnut tree, is that must, oh, that was at 7,000 for the 5075.
That shouldn't be wellness. That'd be JSB.
Well, Wellnuts. Wilnitz Tree Care,
Oh,
for the
okay.
JSB
Yeah,
building, that
JSB.
removal of those trees.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
It just says landscaping expenses, all it says on the check.
I was by there last night, I didn't even look.
They're down.
Yeah, it's naked up there. Man, I wish the state would put more lighting up there on that intersection. Wow, that is.
We got a 2020 Chevy Tahoe in the sheriff's department. The rear blower motor quit working and was bad, and it wasn't under warranty.
Maybe.
So here we are.
Morning, sir.
Morning, how you doing?
Just signing our lives away.
Is that a routine in November, December?
Every month.
Every month.
Every month.
Every month, gotta pay bills.
Yeah.
Want to listen to him so he can go
Yeah.
do his business?
You got some stuff for us?
Well, I know I'm not on the agenda, I came just
That's all
to
right.
check in. But we, just a couple updates, and you might have heard from Jeff already. So we've got, I got some of our team coming down because we're working on a couple projects for you guys, and we're gonna meet with Jeff and Kenny and some folks to get some design issues worked out on the old 50 project that's got some KDOT funding in it, so that's gonna happen today. Then we've been continuing to work with Bobby on some of the other activities regarding the CHIPS Act project, and that work is continuing. We're continuing to look at some of the areas that you have directed us to look at, and kind of get some of the early survey work and some what's called environmental scanning, the initial environmental scanning of different properties to make sure that there's no, surprises early on in that. So that work will continue. And then what I'd like to do is maybe in a couple weeks come back and give you, we have completed the draft reports for both the Trails project and for the stormwater analysis for the county and the cities. We have that circulating with the cities and the county folks that have been at the meetings. I've got those pretty well done, and I think it would be good for me to come back and present those findings in their final form to you guys, at least final draft form. But again, I feel pretty good about the feedback we've received in all that work with the committee. The studies will now prepare the cities and the county that if there are projects we want to go after grant money, the studies will begin that process. We've also started work, because if you remember, one of the other priorities was sidewalks within the cities, and we've begun to put that work together so we can come back and meet with the committee in December and start on sidewalks in the different communities. So probably in a couple weeks, I might come back with kind of a presentation of the two reports, so you all will be up to speed with what we've been working on, and they'll be pretty much in final form. One other side note that we're learning too that might be of benefit to, just in learning this today, that as you know, with all the infrastructure dollars that the federal government is going to be putting forward, there's a lot of different programs. But one of the programs is called the RAISE grant. It used to be called Tiger. and it was called the Build Grant. It depends on who's president and administration, but it's now called Raise Grants, and it's transportation focused, but particularly on the trails study, as you all remember, the biggest expense there is going to be a bridge over the Neosho River. The Raise Grant category might be a good category to submit for funding for that overall program, because it does have some rural categories, and it could be a nice avenue to begin to look at some funding that would come from a different source, not from. Now there would have to be some, probably a little bit of local match, but again, that's something to consider. I bring it up because what I'm hearing is that the call for the next round of applications is probably imminent within the next week or so, and then they'll usually have a window of a couple months to get applications into the federal government. So I think it's worth us considering, but as I get more information, I'll bring that back to you guys. And then one last thing on the trails component. If you remember, and again, I'm not looking for any answer now, but when we met with the Corps, they like the direction that we have. It's going to be in the report for where the trail would go, but then they're going to require a design before they would review it and approve it. So just again, that's something that falls in your authority to approve or not approve. But if that's going to move forward, there's going to need to be a decision on, do we move forward on design or not. So anyway, that's a quick update. What I could do possibly is to maybe give you guys something to think about, is put together kind of what I'll say the design would cost to do, so you at least have an understanding of what the parameters of that would be, and I can get that to you guys here in the next couple of weeks.
I think that would be a good idea.
There must be a bunch of extra money out there, because Osage's was 1.6, I think, when the bids came in on their trail.
Yeah.
And Franklin got one.
Well,
it was under $1 million, but not by a whole lot, if I remember right.
Yeah, and on a bigger scale, we've been doing all the Flint Hills Trail design work for the last several years, and we helped them successfully get a $25 million raise grant to finish the Flint Hills Trail, all 166 miles.
I think one in Osage County is part of that.
I think it is too, yeah.
Yes.
I think it's a spur or a connector, yeah.
Yeah, because it connects up there to north of Lindenite.
Yeah.
It's a bridge that I've never seen anybody go over.
But then you look there, Shawnee, on each, almost every month on the KDOT website, Shawnee County's got bunches going on.
Yeah.
Bunches.
Yeah. So it's there's a lot going on there. The biggest issue is everything you run into, which is the price of stuff. In talking to some contractors, we're starting to see some of that level out a little bit, but I think the bigger, the additional issue on top of the cost of stuff is, frankly, how busy the contractors are. We've had good weather. It's been a good long construction season. Many are still working on projects because the weather's generally held pretty well. So I think that's affecting pricing as well. But again, I think that's something we're going to be dealing with.
Well, from my standpoint, there is just so much out there that you can bid that contractors are being, well, I don't want that one.
Yeah.
I'll take this one.
Pick and choose.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of where I'm almost at.
Well, and frankly, even like when I mentioned the raise grant, and again, there's no guarantee you get the money, but you got to apply to try to get the money. But it almost would feel like if you did go after a grant like that for the trails, it should be for the whole county, because frankly, if you're successful, to your point, you're going to get more interest from contractors looking at a bigger project right now that's bundled than a one-off that they're sitting there going, wait a second, I've got this over here, that kind of thing.
And a lot of what they're finding out right now is the smaller ones, you don't get a turnout.
Right.
Right. Won't mess with it.
No.
Right.
It's not worth it.
Yeah.
We're seeing that on our work in Kansas and Missouri with the state on projects that they're starting to bundle more projects, because it just, they weren't getting the numbers, to bid on projects, so. Anyway, I just, like I said, I know it went on your schedule, I just thought I'd pop in, we got some meetings with the Public Works, with the Road and Bridge folks here, and, thought I'd come in and give you a quick update.
On the chip deal up there, the properties, I asked here a while back to ensure that geologists have looked to make sure there wasn't any limestone underneath the grass up there, because that starts racking up the dollars for construction. I'm assuming that has been done, because I was told that.
Okay, well, good, I'm glad you're bringing it up. We hadn't been, we had it on the list of things to do. We hadn't been directed yet, because we kind of needed to make sure, I'll say, there was proper control of the property to do that. I think we absolutely could get lined up to do that.
I mean, once the property is purchased, it's kind of a moot point at that point in time. You've just tripled your expense to do any type of construction on the said property.
Yeah.
Person should be able to look at maps and elevation to see if.
We've topoed everything that we have been directed to topo to date. We're coming back out to topo that westerly piece. We'll get that going here probably next week. But I can certainly line up our geotech engineer and do some core samples throughout. They're going to be needed regardless, but we could certainly get started on that.
I would say if there's rock there, it's going to be east of the house up on the hill, and it's going to be the north ridge line of the east property.
Okay.
I would venture to say.
I know where you're talking about. Just kind of look at the lay of the land.
North of the other house and back to the west a little bit. But that west property, that hillside, I know there's some springs out in there, so that makes me believe there's rock underneath.
Yeah, I'm following you. Okay. Well, we could, let me put something together, and then I'll run it through Bobby that he can get to you guys.
Yeah, I would guess that would be a pretty important thing that we ought to be looking at, right, guys?
So, okay, good deal. All right.
So, what about our parking over and all the parking around here? Is the county involved in that in any way?
No.
No.
Okay. Not even our parking lot?
No, sir.
We're not involved.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
That all went through Goldberg, which went through his team, if you will, because he's designed it for free. We just had to get Toth to do the survey.
Okay.
Which is a Goldberg associate, so to speak.
And if you're coming back in a couple of weeks, that'll be on the 12th. You need to get with Angie, because we've already got quite a bit going on.
Yeah. Will you be meeting the 19th?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we make it the 19th. I know it'd be right before Christmas. Then because we've got our monthly meeting scheduled with the committee on the 28th, so I can meet with you guys prior to that, so you'll see the results. So that would work fine.
What's the earliest you can make it on that day?
Whatever you say, I'll be here.
I mean, it's 9 o'clock too early, or do you
No,
need
it's fine.
to-
It's fine.
This month's canceled, right?
This one's canceled. Yes. Yeah. I send out the emails, and then no one responds until the day before, and then they say, "What's going on?" I'm not saying you. I'm saying I'm from others. There's I thought it was clear. So we good?
Yeah,
Okay.
30 minutes or an hour?
Let's go. I think I can do it in 30 minutes.
Okay.
And then if they have questions, we might go a little bit longer, but maybe 30, 40 minutes tops.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd say it's going to be 30 to 45 minutes, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead and pitch it out.
Good deal. Guys, thank you.
sir.
Hope you all had a good holiday.
Same to you.
We still have quite a bit more.
Yeah, there's a whole nother box here, plus some special issues. I still got the checks.
Okay, you're on Road and Bridge there, okay.
Yeah.
I think these are the checks that
And
go
I've got
with,
another stack here too.
go with them.
Yeah. Thank you.
We're not into box 2 yet, right?
Nope.
No,
Okay.
$1,870, housing inmates. That's just at, Howard.
I hope one of these days we get to look at the checks coming in that the other commissions outside of the county
Or sign.
sign in and send it to us.
Yep.
And we get to say, oh, $1,800 from Woodson County for inmates. For housing inmates, yeah.
They're housing some of ours right now.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, just wanted to.
Yeah. There's the last set of checks for that box. Oh, for the 5?
These checks go in the first
Those
one.
checks go to the first one, yes.
Put them on top.
All right.
When we're done.
All right, that'll work.
Wade, I know you haven't seen all this stuff that we do here, but I'm gonna watch the first video when you guys do checks and vouchers, because I wanna see the reaction on your face as this stuff comes across in front of you. Because you're gonna, a lot of times you're gonna say,
I understand.
what in the world?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of them that we have no choice.
Oh, yeah. No, obviously.
Tile and all.
Yeah.
Why watch it on video when you can have a front row seat?
Yeah. We handle about $500,000 a month in our business. Lots of things I don't wanna see go out, if we could just keep it in what passes through our hands.
Kinda like, we have to send autopsies to the people and stuff, you know, and unattended deaths, that's our expense and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was here one day when you were discussing that. And
So Tim, is the Orchland Garnet becoming Bumgarner, at Neola, and the one at Ottawa and Topeka
I haven't heard for sure.
becoming TSCs? I know the one at Iola is becoming Bumgarner.
It is.
Well, with all that money the last couple, 3 years, Orchland has put into all these new buildings and then
There's always a reason behind the madness.
yeah, there is. Need more money.
Huh?
Need another signature. Thank you, sir.
Good catch. About a 50-inch moon around Malta.
I guess I'm moving to all your misery for today.
Have a good week.
Have a good one, Wade.
Is that new one that we bought here a while back,
From Murphy? I don't know.
there was one here a while back
How
they
much
had
did
pictures
you
of.
save off?
That's for Murphy, it's a boom mulcher, it's $20,247.
That's that new one.
That's right.
Yeah.
About a month and a half ago.
We approved the purchase of it?
Yes.
Okay. Supposed to do a lot smoother job than brush rider.
Yeah.
The swinging arms.
I'm glad that she was able to purchase it for the price that.
Now, Angie,
We
these,
agreed to.
Yeah.
Those are those two
the
invoices
two checks,
Wade was talking
And
about.
like some places,
Now, how
that's
do you-
been an issue.
how would you go back into the system and find that to reimburse the county for the legal, if the CHIPS Act goes through? How are these checks marked so a person could go back and find that it
If
was
we know-
exactly for the CHIPS Act?
Who the vendor is, we can look it up by the vendor. Or we can look it up by the line item that we paid it from.
But if there's several vendors,
And I can make a copy of those and put them in the CHIPS
Folder?
file.
That's what I'm,
That
or,
should be
I mean, is
reimbursed.
there be like a keyword or something in the search category that you could put in the description of CHIPS Act?
We could put that, yeah.
That way you would know that this check exactly went for the CHIPS. This bill was for the CHIPS, this bill was not, and so on, because we got so many different, I mean, I think that would be,
I think that'd be a good idea.
I mean, 'cause I don't know how in the world, if a year from now, we would ever go, oh, yeah, I remember this $47,000, you know.
We probably need to start putting CHIPS
That's what I was
in the
thinking,
description.
yeah, that way you could search, could you search that through your system?
Yeah, we could print off,
I think that would be-
report and see in the description CHIPS.
Yeah, I think that would be very, very good.
You're gonna have so many vendors.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just need to make sure that they are listed as CHIPS.
A, confirm it was a CHIPS
Mhm.
bill, and B,
We'll put that in the
put that in the
description.
description, that way you could search it.
Yeah.
So I just see a train wreck.
Mhm. Yeah, we don't want that.
You don't think you remember
What
all
happens
that?
when
No,
we
sir.
miss one?
I can't remember what I did yesterday.
What is on the description now? Up top it should say.
CA Consulting August, consult expense.
Okay.
Burns, Squash, PA, that's it.
Okay.
That's on one. Consult expense is on Fisher Patterson. Yeah, Fisher.
Okay, well, I will put those in the file, and, maybe I'll just make a little spreadsheet too, to track some of that.
It'd be nice to be able to track it. I know it's more work, but I think it'll sure help in the long run, that we don't have to go back through each individual. Yeah.
The, bakery, Angie, since it's to the city clerk, I want, that's a county clerk.
Is that from the bakery?
It's from the bakery,
Oh, really?
for one, yeah. City clerk, food expense for election deals, I
Oh,
think.
okay.
But the city clerk,
He knows who I am, but he might have just,
that mean we can take a break, Jesse?
Make it a tie.
That's the new. No, this is.
Those are special issues.
These are special issues, yeah, I'm not.
Everything you got, Tom's still in the old book, or the old box, first box.
Shorten their name to Burns and Walsh instead of Burns, Walsh. That's it, yes. Yeah.
All that one?
My tea got very weak.
That's like.
They must be trying to call me about my car warranty being expired. You'll love Amazon. On Amazon.
Oh, yeah. I do not use Amazon.
I don't either.
I don't like their political view.
Nope. Buy anything from Amazon.
I don't either.
Well, it's right there could've went to Baumgars and bought
Oh, yeah. We've been talking about that for
a long time.
a long time, and it seemed make any change.
Bobby ever surface,
He's down there talking, saving, want me to go, he's still in the office.
if he's busy doing stuff. I would just say, we'll give him plenty of notice, get on the agenda for next Monday for an update of the fall festival.
That'll work.
Sound like a plan, Bob?
That'll work for me, yeah. You know, there's one question Don always wanted to know, Don will be online next week.
Hopefully he can be.
Everybody's buying new boots.
Wintertime.
Hmm?
Wintertime.
Yeah. End of the year.
You can
Gotta
buy
spend
new
it.
boots?
Gotta
You
spend
buy new
it.
boots? Somebody is.
Gotta spend that money at the end of the year.
Yeah. Get your boot voucher, I don't know if there's boot vouchers, I know some places do that. I have one pair of shoes, and that's it.
I have
Got 2
closet.
feet.
Yeah, I have a closet full of, I wear the same few.
I wish I could go in the closet and get new feet instead of different pair of shoes.
But I can't throw them away. This size, my hair is like.
Mm-hmm. That's a problem, I'm not even gonna say it, I'm not even gonna say it.
It's a universal problem.
Yep, I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut. That's a blank page you get to sign.
I don't know,
I don't know what it matters.
I don't know,
that's
one,
an executive order,
one of the,
national level.
Mm-hmm, means bad.
one of the people down at Road and Bridge a few years ago started sticking them in there all the time, and I think that person's gone now.
And they get mixed up anyway,
Yeah,
so.
and I don't know why they waste their.
It all goes the
I
same
was
way.
thinking that was something Wayne had them do.
Really? I don't know what matters.
So, yeah, Dunham had, Walter, with a pair of sunglasses on, Biden glasses. Walter thought he was president.
Just give up.
Here's another one of those deals, you know, for the wellness deal. Down here in the courthouse stuff, they give them here, but, down at the shop, they give Amazon gift cards and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we encourage them to shop in town?
Yeah. Yeah, $30 Baumgart gift card or $30
Give
whatever.
or give them,
Chamber bucks.
chamber bucks.
Chamber bucks.
Which can be spent anywhere in the county,
Yeah.
supposedly, you know?
Well, before you leave, you have to make the motion then.
We've done that before, and it never did work,
So,
I'll just leave that over to you guys to do your first order of business.
Block Amazon from the computers.
No, not necessarily, because it might be some things, but, you know, it's kinda like, why don't, when you got a county deal, why don't you give
we're trying
county
to decide
bucks
what to come out
instead of
we're thinking it don't really mean anything.
encouraging people to
Shop
We'll have
away.
to ask, though, we should ask. Don't assume it don't mean anything, we need to ask.
little tree fresheners for trucks from Amazon.
Or if it's black ice,
$112.
that's a lot of fresheners.
Mhm.
That guy smells so strong, people put it in their car, but.
Yeah, your eyes water for the first 2 weeks.
Mhm.
Compressed gas duster.
Air can,
You know, they-
buy an air.
They could be bought locally.
Then you go up to the air compressor and blow it out.
Mm-hmm. think you're right, a lot of it could be my road.
Yeah, I specifically went through it to,
Casey's Cookies, didn't get them.
they, well, they could've gotten from a locally owned location, the Mary Bell's. Guess the money would've stayed here. I wonder what she's having for lunch. Me make an airplane for you, Bob?
Sure. Now, it used to be half of the pages in here were paper.
Oh. Got your camper winterized, Mark? All good?
Oh, yeah.
Put away?
Weeks ago, we're ahead of the game.
Got it put away, tucked away for the winter time? You put it in storage? No, keep it outside.
Yeah.
I bought one of those carports and put over mine. I mean, I should have paid for storage, I mean, if you calculate it out.
Right. Well, one thing it
Not that bad.
really does is keep the water off of it, that way it doesn't freeze and break stuff,
Mhm.
you know?
Hurts your caulking in the sun, and
Yep,
one of the better investments I did for mine.
yep.
Well, you guys have a great
Have a
rest
good
of your
week,
week.
sir.
Have a good one.
You know, another guy that sells those carports personally, and he never gives me a break on anything I buy from him.
No good buddy deals?
No family
No
discount.
family discount at all.
So when you're gonna put them out for bids next time.
Yeah, I need to get a hold of my deer feed guy.
That's the same guy,
The same guy?
yeah.
He's tough cookie.
A buck down there on us, it's already got a heck of a rack
Oh, yeah?
on one side, the other side's gone.
All broke off. Fighting.
Mhm.
A lot of times they'll break their skull right at the base. They get infection. They don't act goopy. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of them. 8-pointers. Have a lot of issues with it.
I've got two that come through that, one of them looks like he can barely carry himself, he's got this horn. That's all he's got.
Mm-hmm.
And another one's kinda like him, but he seems healthy, but he's just got one that much longer.
Unicorn.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not even sure you want that breeding stock around.
You're supposed to call them.
That's what I've been told, but
Mm-hmm. But it's hard to get away from them when you got 6 of them, you only got 1 tag.
right. Then the other morning I was sitting there and there was deer everywhere, all at once I could hear something. Like the frame of the hunting hut was making noise, I mean, lots of loud noise. And I opened it and looked down and one of the little bucks had his horn rubbing
Rubbing
on
it.
the post of it.
Had an itch.
Yeah.
I think they got the first round over with, now we're waiting on the second round, which will probably fire off Wednesday. Right.
I'm surprised the insurance companies don't allow you to coat, the longer seasons or more.
Well, I can shoot 6.
Huh?
I can shoot 6.
But I mean, yeah, you'd think they would because, man,
They're, they
has
do,
to cost them.
to thin them out, they do have a second rifle that's in January, but you can only shoot does.
Yeah, and a lot of good bucks get killed because they've already lost their horns
Mm-hmm.
by then.
You get mistaken.
Mhm. That's the brown and down season, it's brown is down.
And what happens if you shoot one by mistake?
As long as it doesn't have horns, you're okay.
As long as it doesn't have horn, you're okay.
Any visible horn.
How do you determine
Mhm. Now, once you shoot it, if you're running hit a tree and break off, then you just put your bow tag on.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Honest guy. Honest.
Did you get cold this week?
Yes.
Wednesday.
Tomorrow night. Tomorrow afternoon.
Tomorrow afternoon? Nice out there right now, 50 degrees.
That's what Davey Rellahan said this morning, anyway.
Tomorrow should be nice, and then get cold style. Tomorrow evening, maybe.
54 for a high tomorrow, 24, 38 Wednesday. Friday, 60.
With a 30-mile-an-hour north wind.
That'll be a little chilly.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
That would be cool.
Northwest winds, 5 to 10 mile an hour. Gusting to 25. Well, Saturday night, December 3rd, slight chance of snow. With slight chance of rain.
Ew.
Yeah. What now was it, Saturday, you got almost an inch and a quarter, I think.
It rained some water.
Some of my neighbors said 1.5 inches.
I figured we had an inch, in between an inch to 2. That's what I figured. 12 mile an hour winds out there right now.
What's an erosion problem?
Probably that,
It's what you see out there in the parking lot
yeah,
across the street.
big green or,
Oh, okay. That's probably that came from right tree service. From tree service, not, what's,
Water.
erosions.
you take stakes and drive down through the center of it, into the ground.
Really?
How much was that? I'm kinda curious.
$272.
And how many feet?
It says for courthouse parking lot.
It didn't say the feet.
272 feet.
272.
No, excuse me. 160.
We would have done that then, because that wouldn't have been part of Skillman. So I don't, yeah, did Skillman
It
have
wasn't,
to do that?
it wasn't, me and Jeff looked it over and it wasn't, so we kinda, he took it upon himself, I should
Okay,
say.
okay, I didn't know that, or didn't know
No.
that came from.
Is it seeded? Is there grass planted in it?
I don't believe so.
Thought I seen some,
He said he was gonna plant some, Skillman did, I believe, but I don't know
thought
if
I
it
seen
ever
some
got
coming up out
accomplished.
there.
What would we plant grass at, or,
Peel it off and
yeah, we should be getting on that too. Next thing you know, we're gonna be be construction out here and they're gonna be done over there.
In the design phase. Okay. I was thinking of different service.
I've got two granddaughters, they have for mine that they're gonna ride mules on Christmas break this year.
Oh, yeah? When's the Burlington parade?
The 10th, let's see, the 10th.
Emporious is tonight. Starts at 7 o'clock.
I'm determined they're gonna do that.
Come on, Grandpa.
Neither one have been on a mule for a year or longer. Yes. They'll be all right, mules will be fine.
How will Grandpa be?
Yeah, this one mule has a tendency, it wants to step out all the time, and he can do it, he's big old 18-hand
Oh, no.
Tennessee Walker, and he wants to step out. The other one's a 17-hand, but he's just, he'll babysit her
Yeah.
on that one. When I ride, he'll be okay. Just Andy will have to be. So
That's a big old mule.
yeah, it is. The one I ride is taller than him yet.
Really? Taller than 18?
Mm-hmm. About 18-1.
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
yeah. They're big suckers, I guarantee you.
How old are they?
One of them is 20 and the other one is, 18.
Wow.
And I think they're still both growing. The 18-year-old one, I think he's still growing.
Really?
He just seems like it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
I do too.
He rides and drives.
Not any taller.
And then I got a Molly that she rides and drives. But now you wanna do it, so yeah, Grandpa's gonna do it. I thought I'd kinda quit this braid stuff. That's all.
Did you see we're trading with Venezuela now?
Uh-huh.
Oh, no problem, you get it down south, you just can't.
Could get it from Alaska too.
Yeah.
That'd be a problem.
Nope, can't do the pipeline.
No, can't do pipeline.
Wouldn't be a problem.
Nope, can't do a pipeline.
But what
Can't,
was-
no drilling and no new drilling on federal lands, but you can go down and get it in Venezuela.
Yeah, you gotta watch that.
I'll have to watch
You
it.
brought that up too. And a
So-
lot of people think you ought to just, let people drill oil here, open up the taps here, get oil from the United States. You could do that?
It's impossible.
It was a good, I just.
Have that break on Thanksgiving weekend too. There's,
Yeah. Well, they
there's
made,
nothing to do with that.
yeah, they made the decision Friday afternoon at 4:45.
Yep. Oh, just look over that, nobody's busy.
Well, he won't have a job after the first year, will he?
No. Hope not.
One-way ticket.
Is she out all the way?
Yeah, she was
Yeah.
fine. Or wasn't gonna run or whatever.
Join will run again.
Because she's worried about her husband's, treading on her husband's life.
Alaska never got their votes out till Wednesday. Finalized. Where do we live at? What is it, Alaska?
Couldn't get across Canada. They had to quarantine them before they could come across Canada.
My problem is, why does it take that long?
There's not that many people up there.
Yeah.
tally the winner of the voice. Put in 3-minute commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How they can.
Yeah, how can they do that?
I was kind of disappointed in the election. I really didn't think the country would go that way. That's what they did.
Well, we still got one left, the Georgia.
Yeah.
That's what, second or third? December 2nd, the runoff in Georgia?
Final number was 218, right, on the House?
I think so, yeah.
I thought we were supposed to hit 220, but, no.
We got Georgia.
Yes.
And
By the way,
we
she
need,
resigned.
we need the majority, we need the Georgia, we need the Georgia to go to get no, that'll be split.
That'll be,
That'll be a split.
Yeah.
Kamala will have the vote.
yeah.
221 Republican, 213 Democrat,
221, we made it.
218 seats to control the House, yeah.
I'm just reading a little article on these, people they arrested from the January 6th of 2 years ago, that people are still in jail.
Still in
They're
jail.
refusing to let them get haircuts,
Mhm.
refusing to let them shave, and they haven't really been accused of tried anything, but they won't let them talk to their families
Yep.
because they use the COVID crap.
Mhm.
They're talking through glass.
Mhm.
Our president doomed, COVID over.
Yeah, it's over, COVID.
It's over.
It's done.
Well, he told us that
He cured it.
if you wore your mask, you'd be able to.
It's over.
It's over.
So they ought to be where they went into great detail
If
about
we don't
that.
have any more checks, vouchers to sign this,
How do you know he went to great detail? You can't understand.
That's correct.
do we have anything else that we need to discuss?
We should, no.
That'd be best.
Don't have anything we shouldn't either.
We'll adjourn at 12:11.
Keep us out of trouble.
Good call.
Now you can say what you want to say.